The MLS season is underway, and if you're a soccer fan, then this is a big weekend as it is a free match weekend. Here to talk about that and much more around the MLS is the host of MLS 360 on Apple TV Plus. It is Kevin Egan. Kevin, how's it going, man?
Dexter, excited. We've got a busy weekend ahead here on St. Patrick's Day. I know people are out celebrating, but I'll be in studio and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you. I know you will get to enjoy some festivities this weekend, but also busy with the soccer. And Kevin, first, talk to me about this MLS free match weekend. For people who don't know, what is it and why is it so good for soccer fans?
It's 14 games this weekend, plus all our studio shows available to anybody who loves the beautiful game. At a time when, Dexter, we're going out with Apple TV and Major League Soccer to 105 countries around the world. At a time when we've got Lionel Messi, the greatest player of all time in our league. At a time when we've got the World Cup rapidly approaching in just 2 years here in America, Canada as well, and Mexico obviously too. But for our American teams and our Canadian teams, just a huge opportunity to spotlight how much the league has grown, how exciting Major League Soccer is right now. Each and every week, when you look around the different stadiums, I see images there of St. Louis and Nashville, Miami with Messi, Busquets, Suarez, and Alba all on board now too. It's just a special time for the league. So we've got a busy slate of games this weekend. We're going to take you on that wild and wonderful journey of MLS 360, which is, to any NFL fan, it's similar-ish to a Red Zone show, but it's a bit more interactive, a bit more fun. We get to go directly to the commentators, get brought into the games. We can react to the goals and analyze them too.
Yeah, you guys do such a great job with that. It's a lot of fun. If you want a lot of soccer at one time and figure out what's going on, this is the show for you. All right, so you mentioned it. This weekend, busy. Match day 5, 14 matches this weekend. What do you think are the most intriguing matchups for fans to tune into this weekend? Even though they can see them all with you on MLS 360, what are the most intriguing matchups this weekend in your eyes?
I'll give you 3. So we kick off the weekend with 2 games at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And one of those games is Miami, Messi's team, in action in the nation's capital against DC United, a side that have started brilliantly under their new coach, Troy Lesesne. There's question marks about Messi's availability for this game. He picked up a knock and a little bit of a concern around his hamstring. He came off in the 50th minute against Nashville just a few days ago in CONCACAF Champions Cup play, a different tournament. So whether Messi will be there or not, I'm not totally sure, but Suarez will be, Busquets will be, and they'll head to DC United and hoping to keep their good start to the season going. Then you wrap up our slate of games Sunday night with Atlanta United hosting Orlando. Now, that's a real rivalry in Major League Soccer. And Atlanta, last week, Dexter, 67,500 people at Mercedes-Benz Stadium enjoying that game. So a blockbuster atmosphere set for Mercedes-Benz Stadium as they welcome the Lions of Orlando, who've really struggled to kickstart their season so far. A real favorite for many as well, I might add. And then one game in between here on Saturday night. It's going to be part of MLS 360, a fascinating tactical matchup. And I hope you can join us for this one. Columbus, the champions of Major League Soccer, taking on the New York Red Bulls, a side that play a different style. They couldn't play more diametrically opposed games of soccer the way these two teams operate, but they're so comfortable within their own skin. And in Columbus, it's always a brilliant atmosphere. So really excited for those 3 in particular.
Okay, Kevin, you mentioned the Red Bulls, and when you look at the league in the Eastern Conference, the Red Bulls, they are one of 5 teams with 7 points at the top of the league. Inter Miami, who you mentioned, they're leading the way on goal differential early on. Can the Red Bulls compete with the East Elite, Miami and Columbus, who many expect to compete at the top of the East? Are the Red Bulls in the class? Could they win the East this season?
So, Dexter, if you're a casual soccer fan here in the New York region and you're listening to your question and you're not really keeping up to what's going on this year, you'd probably say, nah, the Red Bulls, they just about snuck into the playoffs last year. This is a different Red Bulls team this year. I'm telling you that now. Brilliant recruitment, a new coach. The star man is Emil Forsberg, who comes across from Europe, a Swedish legend. And they bring back Lewis Morgan. They're scoring goals. They're excellent at the back. And they have a young centre-back called Noah Ayla, who's been tremendous this season. There's something special about this New York Red Bulls team. And the team looks pretty complete. But the one piece that's missing, the one player that needs to step up is a striker. And that man has to be Dante Van Zer, a player that scored 70 goals in Belgium, came in with much fanfare to the New York region to be the guy to step up and score goals. They haven't really had a killer up front, a goal scorer like Bradley Wright Phillips in quite some time. And this Red Bulls team, though, hasn't been as good as they were in 18 until now, potentially. You know, this is the best team we've seen since 2018 when the New York Red Bulls won the Supporters' Shield. So I think this team is ready to challenge.
Yeah, they can definitely do it there. And you're right, they need a little bit more offense up front. Been a little while since BWP was scoring goals here in the New York area, and hopefully they can get back to that and compete in the East. But good vibes for Red Bulls fans out there. Now, out west, Kevin, the defending Western Conference champions, LAFC, they're off to a slow start with 4 points in 3 matches played. Portland and Minnesota, they sit atop the conference with 7 points. Is the West wide open this year in MLS?
Yeah, it most certainly is. Great storylines out in the West, too. You mentioned LAFC. Finalists last year, winners the year before. Denny Bouanga scored 38 goals in all competitions. Was wanted by a lot of European teams. And Bouanga said, no, I want to stay in Los Angeles. I want to stay in Major League Soccer. Pens a new deal. He's yet to score this season, but Denny Bouanga scores in bursts. He's an explosive player, and I expect that we'll see some Denny Bouanga goals very soon. Portland, under the guidance of Phil Neville, Manchester United legend, are off to a wonderful start. And Minnesota, on your screen right now, tonight is a fascinating game for the Loons of Minnesota, and here's why. They've got the youngest manager now in the league, and it's his first match in charge. His name is Eric Ramsey. He comes across from being the assistant coach for Eric Ten Hag at Manchester United, and there's a lot of hype around him. The problem for Eric Ramsey is that Cameron Knowles, the interim manager, did such a brilliant job, and the players really bought into everything Cameron Knowles was doing, facing such adversity without the head coach during the offseason. So Knowles does a great job, and now he must step aside for this 32-year-old new manager who no doubt will be brilliant. But the question is, can Eric Ramsey handle this adversity of landing in amongst a group that's really happy right now and that momentum not being derailed?
Yeah, and you wonder if that group will buy into him being there, and that is definitely a challenge there, Kevin. A lot of good stuff going on in the MLS. That is Kevin Egan, host of MLS 360. Remember, folks, if you want to catch some MLS action this weekend and you don't have MLS Season Pass, you can fire up the Apple TV app. All 14 of the games this weekend will be available to watch for free in English and Spanish. Kevin, I know you're going to be plugged in, right? You will, for sure.
I certainly will be. I can't wait. You mentioned BWP, Bradley Roy Phillips, New York legend, in studio with me on 360, as is Sasha Kleshin. So we're live at 7:30 Eastern time for MLS 360 for 3 hours. It's going to be bonkers. It's going to be fun. Get involved in the conversation, and it's free this weekend.
It is free, and it's good to watch. Got some great guys working with you there. Kevin, thank you for the time. We'll do this again soon. Appreciate you, man.
Cheers, Dexter. All the best, pal.